This is not a drill, this is the real deal. Ladies and gentlemen, I have for you today the best build in the game right now, as far as I'm concerned. But I believe by the time you are done watching this video, you too will be convinced that this is the best thing to happen in the game. This is the solution to all your troubles, and this is the way you complete the game while having fun and just destroying everything that stands in your way. We are going to be using the architect crest, and by the way, every single item that I use in this video is going to be linked in the description to help you get your hands on them. Don't worry, I got your back. So the architect crest, what does it do? So basically its moveset is kind of terrible. Let me show you. When you perform a pogo, it's actually worse than the hunter's crest somehow. The highlight of this crest is that it allows you to replenish your stock of tools whenever you run out, which is amazing. However, you have to sacrifice your silk, which means that you may not have to heal at all. But rest assured, by the time you need to heal, the boss is going to be dead, so there won't be any healing needed. When it comes to the tools we'll be using, I believe one item you can't live without is the body pouch. This tool will apply venom or poison to your other tools, making them even deadlier. What I love about the body pouch is the fact that it changes the way some tools behave. The Plasticium 5, for example, would usually grant you bonus health that would disappear after you get hit. However, with the venom effect, you get additional health, but you explode after 2 seconds, releasing a toxic gas in the big radius. The Flea Brew also changes significantly because not only does it grant you bonus movement speed, but now you will also be able to leave a trail of poison behind you, poisoning enemies who stand in it. That's pretty cool. The tools I believe truly benefit from the body pouch are Cockfly, the 6-shot or rosary cannon, and lastly the tax. The Cockfly might be the best tool in the game simply because they chase targets without you having to do anything. Imagine having your own army of deadly robots. It doesn't get better than that. You can only have 4 active flies at a time, but they linger for a very long time. You can also activate the flies before you even get to the boss fight while sitting on the bench, since they don't reset when you rest. This means you'll be able to start a boss fight with 4 flies ready to search and destroy without having to use any silk or tools. I mean shards. That's really cool. The next important tools are the tacks. Those ones are the equivalent of stepping repeatedly on Legos. It hurts a lot, especially when the enemy stands in them for more than 2 seconds. And because the tacks are also imbued with venom, the enemy's feet are getting obliterated in record time. Obviously, those are tools you may want to replace for the sting shards when facing flying enemies, since, you know, well, they don't have feet and they fly. The sting shards are trickier to use but just as lethal for flying enemies. Just make sure that you put them in their trajectories and watch them stab everything in the vicinity. Wonderful. The next tool will require you to actually play the game this time, instead of having your flies and Legos do all the work for you. My initial choice was to use the rosary cannon since I figured Silksong took so much of my money, I might as well just start wasting it. Yes, the rosary cannon uses actual rosaries instead of shards. This means that once you run out, you will not be able to resupply unless you interact with the bench. The reason why the rosary cannon is great is because it covers a long range and doesn't consume shards, making this a safe option in case you run out of shards in the middle of a boss fight. That would be unfortunate. I understand that using this tool may not suit most people since this is basically throwing money out of the window. So another tool which is equally as deadly, if not more, if you are on a budget, is the silk shot. Now we're talking. You get 16 rounds, all venomous, all lethal. Your rounds can pierce through targets, which means you won't have to fire your weapon too much. This is a powerful weapon that is quite tricky to get since you have to make it all the way to the top of Mount Faye. Not only that, but you can't move while firing your shots, which may lead to some unfortunate scenarios. Best way to use 6-shot is to stay as far away as possible to avoid getting comboed to death. If you ever wanted to use your own spirit gun, now is the moment. We are using quick sling to add an additional tool whenever we throw one, and keep in mind that the sling only applies to tools that are thrown. This means that it doesn't work with your bruise potions and stick shot. This is unfortunate, but trust me, being able to fire 2 rounds at once would honestly just break the game. Silk Speed is here to provide additional speed just in case you want to run away from your problem faster. It consumes silk, provided you run for 4 to 5 seconds non-stop. Jumping, dashing, getting hit while trying to run away will not consume silk, which is great because, well, you're already sacrificing silk to replenish tools as opposed to hitting. Yay! The magnetite dice have a chance to prevent receiving damage. I don't really know the odds, but they are good enough for me for the dice to be included in this build. I can't tell you how many times they saved me, and feel free to use anything else since the yellow tools don't exactly do much for the architect crest. Next we have the reserve bind. This one can be switched for anything else, but the additional silk is very important here when most of your silk is already consumed for crafting tool. This tool can be your backup in case of emergencies. Another tool you could use is Cutter Brace. It may improve your survivability and it allows you to quickly escape incoming attacks. And oh, you look cool while doing it. Very cool. Again, for yellow tools, you can't really do much with them, so feel free to switch things around. The fractured mask can be acquired quite early and could be more useful than the additional silk to keep you alive. The Druid's Eyes are also very powerful if you get hit a lot. It will give you 1 or 2 silk depending on the grade of the tool every time you get hit. Handy when you get caught firing your gun. Overall, this is a pretty good build. Using it almost feels like cheating. But after getting bullied by ants and mosquitoes, I have no regrets. The only things you should really worry about are your resources. You need rosaries to afford shards which are necessary for the tools to be crafted. You never want to be in a scenario where the boss is almost dead while you can't craft any more tools. You can also use your your drill to hit enemies and replenish your silk. Just don't try to pogo with the drill, it is horrible. The perfect scenario will be for you to make sure that you buy as many shards bundle to make sure that you can always craft tools even on the go. You could also purposely die to a boss just to make sure that you have enough silk to heal or make more tools when you recover your cocoon. Or you can just hit a few things before the fight. I can't believe there isn't a single skill or tool to gradually restore your silk. But again, it would also make this build a bit too strong. When using the Architect Crest, you want to stay as far as possible and let your tools do the work for you. Most enemies will die within 2 or 3 seconds from the spikes alone, but getting hit by all tools at once is where this build shines. Keep your distance, manage your silk efficiently, and have fun. This is a very fun build, and its lethality is just a bonus. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite crest is, and if you also happen to be a beast enjoyer, I may have something for you soon. So drop a like, subscribe, just to make sure you keep up with everything Silksong related. And have a good day. Hey, wait, hold on, I almost forgot. Don't forget to expand your pouch and carry more tools, and make sure they are fully upgraded because that also affects the damage. Oops.